everybody, and welcome to Watkins Glen International for the NASCAR Classic Cup Series Racing, right here on Rubbin Racin Motorsports Network. I am going to be your commentator tonight. I am Sean Fay, the creator and owner of Rubbin Racin Motorsports. Jimmy Powell will be out for tonight, unfortunately, because he had some issues with a thing called life. Yes. But I will be your commentator for tonight for the NASCAR Classic Cup Series' running of the Sirius satellite radio at the Glen. 45 laps here at Watkins Glen International. It's going to be an exciting one for today. Already, we got the drivers out here on the course for their practice session. We already got just about 10 more minutes of qualifying, I believe. So, hopefully, we will be going well tonight here. But already we got the number 4 of Juan Casiedo. He's at the top of the board. He's the number 4 Kodak Pontiac for tonight. He is already at the top of the board. We'll take a look at the standings as you see him. Juan Casiedo is the number 4. He's all the way at the top of the 113.007. Andrew Miller, the 113.936. He's in the number 77 in second place. Travis Rowland up in third. The 00 with a 114.044. David Alvarez in a 114.714. He's in the number 68 Nerf car tonight. Nerf Dodge. The number 68 in fourth. The 114.719 is Shane Lake. He is driving, yes, the 24 for tonight. Yes, that's normally my number in the NASCAR Classic Cup Series. But with permission, Shane Lake will be racing number 24 tonight. He's a new driver popping into the Rubbin Racin Motorsports scene here in the NASCAR Classic Cup Series. He will be in fifth. Or is fifth right now with a 114.719. Kurt Scott, the number 15. He's in with a 115.788 in sixth. Zachary Stecker with a 116.050 in seventh, the number 56. And Adam Harrington all the way in back in eighth place so far with a 116.673, the number 20 car for today. So definitely this will be exciting here at Thunder Road at the Glen. It's going to be, hopefully, not like the Keystone Light Super Truck Series race on Sunday at, was that Auto Club Speedway? Yes. That was, yeah. You'll have to go watch it up on Twitch, right here on Twitch, or you can check out our YouTube page as well. It's easier if you search up Rubbin Racin Motorsports up on YouTube. You'll be able to find it. Or if you even search the Keystone Light Super Truck Series, I believe you'll find a playlist that has some of the races on there as well. And you can check out the California 250, which occurred this past Sunday. But right now, we are in NASCAR Classic Cup Series racing here at Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen Nextel 06, to be exact. With a little bit of an I&I change. In a past race that occurred in one of the test races we had a couple months ago, as we see David Alvarez just decide to give up and hit the wall there. Very interesting stuff from him. But we, in a past race that we had done, we did kind of a test race here, and it did not go so well. Nobody could handle a single turn. It was very strange. So, with recommendation with a driver who has yet to race in RNR, it was his recommendation that we basically take the tire grip, wear, and heat from Watkins Glen 2017 and pop her on in here to this track, and that's what we have done. So we're interested to see if maybe this track will be at least drivable, more drivable than we did our test race here a while ago. This was about 2 to 3 months ago. Let's say back in March would be my guess, but hopefully tonight will be definitely an exciting one. As we see the cars coming around, Zachary Stecker coming around turn 4. Still hanging back in 7th with a 116.050. Pan around to some of the cars. The 24 of Shane Lake. And our 2003 getting a little funky with me tonight. I know I downloaded his scheme, but it just doesn't want to load. I don't know. Weird stuff, of course. For those of you who know in our 2003, it's... Yes, the game is very 2003, we'll just say. Shane Lake, the number 24, all the way up in 5th there. And we have our leader right now, Juan Casiedo, in the 113.007, blinking a little bit there, a little bit of a latency issue. And whoa, he spins around, coming into the S's there. Now, forgive me if I completely said that wrong, because obviously I know a couple of the sections here at Watkins Glen. I know the S's. I know the bus stop, obviously. I know the boot. But as if you've watched previous races of my commentating, my brain tends to hit mental walls, so I'm gonna have to try to break those walls. But not be able to break all of them. But I'll do it for you, the wonderful viewer who decided to tune into this wonderful race that we're going to be doing tonight. Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen here at Watkins Glen. So far, it's exciting, especially for Kurt Scott at number 15. He's at the top of the point standings for Racin Motorsports NASCAR Classic Cup Series. He is at the top of the board in points with 510 points so far this season. David Alvarez trailing behind him with 500. Zachary Stecker's in third with 480. We have Rob Evans with 466 points in fourth. Travis Rowland is 370 points in fifth. That's the top five for the points. Tonight, Rob Evans and both Rob Evans and Johnny Gardner are going to be grabbing provisional points for tonight, since they are currently racing in what's about to start in another 5 minutes, IORL's version of the Indy 500. I don't believe they're streaming it, but I know both those drivers are going to be racing in that tonight, so best of luck to them as they compete in IORL's version of the Indy 500 tonight. So obviously they could not be here tonight, and they're going to be grabbing provisional points as requested. Part of Racin Motorsports is our newly introduced provisional points. Obviously, drivers have to request it. They can't just assume I'm going to give them to them. They have to let me know if they want them. But basically, they'll get last place in the field, so we can see how many cars we have hooked in right now. Assuming that we have 8 cars that start and finish, then they will be grabbing 9th and 10th place points, respectively, once I rack up the points after this race. But this weekend will definitely be exciting for Racin Motorsports. Right now, we have the NASCAR Classic Cup Series, Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen for the NASCAR Classic Cup Series. Tomorrow night, we have main NASCAR Series racing at Armory Digital Super Speedway for the Xbox One X 174. I almost said Xbox 360, but I forgot for a second. The Xbox One is a thing. No offense to the Xbox One. But the Xbox One X 174 will be occurring tomorrow night at Armory Digital Super Speedway. That'll be exciting. And then Dirt will head to Bloomington, the Supreme All Dirt Slugfest. They'll be heading over to Bloomington WKC, one of John Norton's wonderful tracks. You have to check out Wild Customs and Cars. The man, the myth, the legend, John Norton has a bunch of tracks that you can grab right now, including Bloomington, which will be racing tomorrow night, and a bunch of the other tracks we're racing that are his, that we are racing this season for the Supreme All Dirt Slugfest. You can check those out at their website, wildcustomscars.com. Not sure what the number 4 was doing there. Pretty much, take a look back on the replay. It looked like a dump there. Oh, the 56 got a little loose there. And a minor punt from the 4. Take a look at the S's here. The yes, it'll be the Menards 165 for the Supreme All Dirt Slugfest tomorrow night at Bloomington WKC. And that'll occur at 8 p.m. Eastern, right after the main NASCAR series is running of the Xbox One X 174 at Armory Digital Super Speedway. Racing under the lights at Armory Digital. It'll be definitely exciting. Of course, yours truly racing in it. So we'll have to see how that goes. Although I shouldn't say that because I am second place in the points. Yes, that is true. And then Sunday night, the trucks will be going to, yes, Watkins Glen, this track, but not this version of it, though. The Keystone Light Super Truck Series will be heading to Watkins Glen 2017 for the Coca-Cola... ... No, that's not the actual name. The Coca-Cola 150 at Watkins Glen 2017. for the Keystone Light Super Truck Series. So it'll be exciting racing on tap this weekend, and we're going to get it started right here on Racin Motorsports Network with the Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen, right here, Watkins Glen Nextel 06. As we see Zachary Stecker coming into turn 1, trying to still clock some times. Appear to some of the other drivers as well. Andrew Miller in the 77 car, rather. Made his debut last weekend at Coca-Cola Super Speedway. Correction, Pepsi Super Speedway. Of course, I keep saying that because basically, if you know Pepsi Super Speedway, it's Coca-Cola Speedway with Pepsi branding. So, yes, I'm going to get that mixed up, obviously. He made his debut last weekend, and he's making a strong second outing in second place. He had the top of the board until Juan Casiedo, number 4, topped him on that one. Thinking of the number 4, he slides into the wall there. We have the 56 of Zachary Stecker. The very first road course here on the NASCAR Classic Cup Series calendar. But not the last. I believe the next road course will be in a couple races when the Classic Cup Series heads to Sawmill 2003. Yes, the throwback to NASCAR Thunder 2003's fantasy track. Of course, if you remember the game and you download the Thunder, or you earn those Thunder plates, yes, Sawmill Speedway was one of those that you got. Action-packed Tracks APT has a wonderful rendition of Sawmill 2003. And the NASCAR Classic Cup Series will be racing there in a couple of weeks, I believe. But bottom line, Watkins Glen is not the last race on the calendar, or the last road course on the calendar for these guys. The number 4 spinning around there. And everybody's off the track because it is almost time for qualifying. Look, I take a quick look at the chat here. Bear in mind, unfortunately, since Johnny Gardner and Rob Evans are both of our race administrators for Rubbin Racin Motorsports, they're currently right now, again, racing the IORL Indy 500. So we are kind of sort of without a race administrator, so bear in mind there's going to be some moments I'm going to have to do some race administration stuff. Don't like to have to put 2 hats on at the same time, but gonna have to make it work for tonight, since both Johnny and Rob are hopefully gonna do very well in the IORL Indy 500. I don't believe they're streaming it, though. I might be wrong, but I don't believe that they're streaming. And without further ado, qualifying will begin right now. And you'll see in the top left corner of your screen the qualifying times as they come in. Obviously, as we've stated in the previous streams, NR 2003 does not show qualifying of all the drivers. It kind of keeps them private so they can have their private space to practice. Or at least, not practice, qualify, rather. Hopefully they'll get a fast enough time to get to the top of the board. But as I was stating, to finish my point, the NASCAR Classic Cup Series goes, the next road course that they race will be at Sawmill, and that is in a couple weeks on Friday, June 29th. They're going to be racing at Sawmill for the Lumberjack 164, and it'll be exciting. Next week, they'll be heading to Coca-Cola Super Speedway, actually Coca-Cola Super Speedway, for the Gold Peak 252. So that'll be exciting. But momentarily, the drivers should be clocking their times as we wait. Take a look at chat here. Hopefully there'll be any moment. It becomes a tick-tock type of moment when you're sitting here waiting for the drivers to each clock their times. Quite interesting that they're chatting while racing. But right now it's cloudy and 76 degrees with the wind out of the north, 4 miles an hour. So sometimes with this weather can make a huge impact on how these drivers do. So the question is clear the way to go or cloudy? We'll have to find out once these drivers clock their times. But again, Watkins Glen is about, as we look here, 2.45 miles. So just about 0.05 of a mile shorter than Daytona International Speedway. So it'll be a little long to clock the times there. I hope I got that right, because if not, I'm an idiot. Anyway. Keep taking a look at the chat here. Assumed drivers should be... There we go. Shane Lake at the top right now with a 1:14.236. We'll have to see if somebody else can top that. Let's see here. So far, Shane Lake, the number 24, up at the top. Again, he's racing my number for tonight because I told him he could. However, he will not be racing that number for the entire season, just for tonight. Andrew Miller comes in behind him, 1:16.762, and Kurt Scott in third with a 1:17.119. We'll have to see if anyone else. I'm assuming we still have more drivers to qualify, unless they choose not to. Clearly, it seems in the chat here we're having some issues there with the number 4. But then again, it's not too much of a surprise that some of these drivers might not be qualifying here, since it is a road course and they don't want to damage that car, because then it almost becomes a why did they even qualify type of thing. But it looks to me as if chat seems to want to tell me that only 3 cars will be qualifying today. Shane Lake at the top of the board, that number 24, puts it up at the top with a 1:14.236. Andrew Miller in second with a 1:16.762. And Kurt Scott in third with a 1:17.119. Still have a little bit of the session to go. But again, this is the very first road course here on the NASCAR Classic Cup Series schedule. So I'll have to see how these drivers can handle, especially turn 1. Some could possibly guess that it might not go too well. It's one thing when you race in real life, but it's another thing in the sim racing world. We're just about almost set with qualifying here. Before you know it, it'll be time for the pre-race ceremony. And qualifying is locked in. And here we are for happy hour. So I say, folks, it's time we head down trackside for our pre-race ceremonies. And now, for the invocation.
Let us pray. Our Father, we praise you today for a beautiful weather to go racing. Lord, we thank you for loving us only as you can love us. Lord, we pray for the protection of all the drivers and the pit crews today. And Lord, we pray that you will protect our military men and women that protect our great nation. And may we always remember, in God we trust, for it is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
And now, for the singing of our nation's national anthem. Now let's get pumped up here. Nothing like a little exciting flyover, as well as a wonderful rendition of that national anthem. As we still have about 2.5 minutes just under of happy hour. But definitely, it's time to strap in and get excited for this Sirius satellite radio at the Glen for the NASCAR Classic Cup Series. Racin Motorsports, right here on the Racin Motorsports Network. Right here on Twitch. So, check into the chat here. As we can see, Kurt's internet is being bad tonight. So, yeah, that'll be definitely an excitement to... I don't know why I said excitement, but it'll be definitely something to see, as opposed to if his internet truly goes kaplooey or not. See, the number 4 looks a little... Ping is kind of iffy, and obviously if the ping is yellow and high ping like that is not very good. So therefore it's not gonna... Yeah, it's just not gonna do you any good. Again, hitting that mental brick wall that I seem to like to hit. But yeah, again, as we look at the qualifying order, Shane Lake up at the top with a 1:14.236 and the top of the board in first place. He'll be grabbing the pole for today. Andrew Miller, number 77, with a 1:16.762. He's going to be in second place. And in third will be Kurt Scott in the 1:17.119. And number 15, he will be in third. The rest of the field that did not qualify, their order is going to be jumbled up. And it depends on where NR 2003 puts them. Once we get to the actual race session, which should be about 40 seconds away. And now 30 seconds away. But so far, clear 82 degrees. But we'll have to see where it comes, because obviously with these sessions, it's realistic weather, so it can shuffle up. Just because it's clear now doesn't mean it's going to be clear in the race session. And my voice cracked really bad, so hope you didn't notice that. We're almost to the race session. Momentarily. Of course, NR 2003 likes to have its standby sessions, which last about anywhere between 15 to 30 seconds each. Wouldn't be surprised if there's another one coming up. Two, one, and... Okay, another 9 seconds, see? Oh, NR 2003. 3, 2, 1, bingo. Alright, it's race time. Oh, back to cloudy conditions. 82 degrees, wind out of the southeast. Again, it's very interesting to see how that weather changes that quick, but that's realistic weather for NR 2003. It can really shuffle up the standings, that's for sure. Or the weather, or to shuffle up the handling is what I meant to say. But so far, we are almost ready to get the starting command for the drivers to start their engines. Again, we have the 77, or actually the 24 rather. Starting up at the top, Shane Lake in the 24. Andrew Miller in the 77 is second, and Kurt Scott in third. Again, here we go for the command to the drivers.
Drivers, start your engines!
And while that sounded very jumbled, the drivers do get the command to start their engines. And they're off. For the full pace lap, right here at Watkins Glen International. You are tuned in to the Racin Motorsports Network right here on Twitch, and you're watching the Sirius satellite radio at the Glen for the NASCAR Classic Cup Series right here, Racin Motorsports. Obviously, it's going to be a pretty long pace lap with a 2.45 mile road course like the Glen. But the interesting thing we'll have to see when the drivers get into turn 1, how everybody does with that, because obviously sometimes with racing is sim racing, that turn 1 at Watkins Glen might not be the best for some of these drivers here. But hopefully they work out well. But we have 7 cars to start, it looks like. We have the 24 of Shane Lake at the top of the board in first. Andrew Miller in the 77 in second. Not pace car. Zachary Stecker all the way back in third. Kurt Scott in fourth. Juan Casiedo looks like he's going to be in fifth. And Travis Roll in sixth. And David Alvarez seventh. That'll round out your field. Come through the bus stop. Be just about a little ways from now, we're going to be getting under green to start this race here at Watkins Glen Nextel 06. Watkins Glen International. As I dare say it again, the Sirius satellite radio at the Glen. Tribute to that race. Well, when it was called that. Final look at the chat here. Take a final check here at something. Again, I hate to have to be admin and commentator at the same time, but I guess it gives you guys a behind-the-scenes look at certain aspects here of Rubbin Racin Motorsports. However, the pace car is down pit road, and it's time for the second most famous words in motorsports.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go road racing, drivers!
And they're off here at Watkins Glen International. Already the 24 sliding into the grass. He slides back a little bit, but it looks like turn 1 did fairly well, surprisingly. Drivers come through the S's here. Andrew Miller still retains the top. He's still at the top of the board, first place. Interesting how many times I say top of the board, but again, he's at the top of the board. Kurt Scott in second place at number 15. He just passes the 4 of Juan Casiedo for third. David Alvarez in fourth. Travis Rowland actually sixth. I'm probably screwing up these orders. Getting too excited. And there's a caution. The 24 and the 56 got some contact. We'll have to look at the replay here to figure out what just occurred. While my madness was actually occurring. And it looks to me that with that crash, the restart commitment lap, since it was, we hadn't even finished the first lap yet, the restart commitment lap has been executed. And that's the first of 3. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to look back at the replay there. But that's the first of 3 restarts that can be used as per our rules with the restart commitment lap. Obviously, it gives drivers a second chance to maybe make things right this time around. So that's restart number 1 for us. We'll still have 2 more on the board to use. Hopefully not have to use any more, but gives us a chance to get started again. But minus the 24's little issue there, sliding into the grass, even then, minus that, it actually wasn't that bad going into turn 1, as we get the command again.
Drivers, start your engines!
As we have a little bit of a train roll, or steamroll going on here, number 4. Because when it starts off, obviously you're starting at a hill, so if you don't have your brakes on hold, your car just rolls down the hill. Some stuff going on there. The 68 was a little slow to get started. Number 4 as well. They're both a little slow to get started. Interested to figure out what occurred there. As the number 4 trolls along. But as they come through the S's, I guess it's time for take 2 of the Sirius satellite radio at the Glen for the NASCAR Classic Cup Series. As you've just witnessed, the first restart was executed as it did not meet the restart commitment lap. As per the rules for the restart commitment lap, for this particular track, for 2 to 2.66 mile tracks, obviously Talladega being 2.66, this track is 2.56, I believe. Or actually, no, it's 2.45. That's what it is. I keep forgetting. But 2.45 miles, so lap 2, if the drivers can get past lap 2, if there's a wreck on lap 3 and so forth, then we don't restart and we continue on. However, we didn't even get to the third lap. We didn't even finish the first lap. So therefore, we use our first restart, and that is within the qualifications for the restart commitment lap. We did not make it to that lap, so we restart. Hopefully we don't have to use any more, but we'll have to see. We've already used the first. Drivers get to the bus stop. But without further ado, pretty soon we'll be heading on to take 2 for the Sirius satellite radio at the Glen, right here at Watkins Glen Nextel 06, basically Watkins Glen International. Drivers go through the turn, about ready to get started once again. Pretty soon that pace car is going to come off the pit road. We'll get started. 45 laps here at Watkins Glen International. Half the distance of the regular race, which is 90 laps. They come down the final turn, turn 11. Pace cars down pit road. Time once again for the second most famous words in motorsports.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go road racing, drivers!
And they're off once again here at Watkins Glen International. '56 of Zachary Stecker a little slow into turn 1. 4 had some action there. Seems like all the drivers are getting through the turns just nicely as they head through the S's. Andrew Miller, number 77, retains that first place spot with Kurt Scott, heading behind him in second. Shane Lake's behind him in third. Juan Casiedo in fourth, looking to make a move almost on that 24. Travis Rowland in fifth, and I believe, did we have a car spinning? 68 David Alvarez in seventh. Actually, sixth rather, and Zachary Stecker all the way at the back of the field in seventh. Don't believe we had a car spinning. I thought there was a car spinning, and the number 4 was a little loose there. 24 goes outside. The number 4 tries to make that move, but the 24 into the wall. Don't believe a caution is out. No caution will fly. Tough break for the number 24 as Shane Lake making his RNR debut. Not a great start there. I believe he retired as well. Yes, he is out. He is done for the race already. No caution has flied. Again, we use in-game cautions, so doesn't mean I'm going to throw that caution. So it's a tough break for the 24. RNR debut already, he's out. Not even a lap into his first RNR race. Very tough break for the 24. I'm sure you viewers are accumulating the RNR dictionary. Tough break is one of them, obviously. Top of the board, another. Anyways, aside from my madness, Andrew Miller still at the top of the board in first place there. Juan Casiedo in second. Kurt Scott in third. David Alvarez fourth. Travis Rowland fifth. And Zachary Stecker all the way back at sixth. Already Andrew Miller going a little wide in turn 1. But so far, decent. Can't say so good, but decent. Obviously with that wreck on the 24, tough break. Here I am saying it again. But, not very good for him. So far, Andrew Miller up at the top of the board still. Still up in first. A little sliding action from the number 4 there of Casiedo. As they both come into turn 9. Or is that turn 10? One of the two. Zachary Stecker really sliding back. He's almost 15 seconds behind the leader right now. Oh, 56 of Zachary Stecker got a little loose there. As we look quickly back on the replay. Yeah, he got just a little loose coming out. Very interesting stuff there. Not very good for him, though. He's already looking at 14.19 seconds. Now he's 18, almost 20 seconds back. He's obviously, probably could be a setup issue or something. He's not doing very good. Already almost coming on to the 5th lap here at Watkins Glen. So far with one retirement, the number 24 of Shane Link, who just out of turn 11, almost onto the front straightaway, got into that safer barrier there. I think it was maybe it wasn't a safer barrier, it was like the tire thing. Yeah. Tire thing. Anyways, looks like the 77 and the 4 are trying to battle for the top there. Looks like Casiedo is trying to make a move somehow. Looks like he could make the pass, and he clearly does. The number 4 of Juan Casiedo slides past number 77 of Andrew Miller to the top. He will be the new leader here at Watkins Glen International. They go on board with the number 77. Just got passed by the number 4 of Casiedo. They both reached the top there. What that was all about. Look, got a little loose there coming out of the and a little wide as well. Down into turn 1. Already that number 4 is sliding away. Top of the board. I think we might have a battle here for 3rd. Travis Rowland looking to pass David Alvarez. That 3rd place spot. David Alvarez with his Nerf scheme. Very Nerf. Travis Rowland trying all he can to try to get past David Alvarez. Looks like he's losing a little bit of ground, but let's see if he can gain it. Both these drivers combined are just about 11.5 seconds behind the top 2 drivers ahead of them, the number 4 and the 77. So already a pretty decent gap is being established between these drivers. It's becoming one-on-one battles for each spot. Travis Rowland tries to make a move. Oh, and he's blown up. The number 00 has just exploded. And could this be a retirement for him? Just out of nowhere. I wonder if it was a tape issue? Possibly. Maybe he just had a little too much tape. He was heating up. You get confirmation from the chat. He lost the motor. Believes he over-revved it. But yeah, he has lost the motor. Tough break for the 00, but he will slide back. So, let's just say David Alvarez won that battle. And he overtaken 3rd place. Number 15 at Kurt Scott will attain 4th. Zachary Stecker will move up to 5th. Still, the number 4, Juan Casiedo, up at the top of the board. 1st place, ahead of Andrew Miller, who's about 5.17 seconds behind him. The 00 has officially retired. Oh, and the number 4 goes wide into the wall. That means the number 77 will have a clear pass. And caution will be out. At Watkins Glen International, the very first caution here of the Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen comes out at lap 8 for the number 4 of Juan Casiedo, the leader here. Goes a little wide into the wall. And that means Andrew Miller will retain that top spot, 1st place. Head back once again on the replay there. Take a look at the replay. Fast forward a little bit here, but very interesting stuff here so far. Going out just out of the S's, or the bus stop rather. Gonna hop on board here. Clearly went way too wide into that turn. Get a different view here. Went very wide going into that turn. Probably just didn't break enough, I guess. The number 4, who was our leader, is out now. He is out of the race. As we come to our first caution here, we already have lost 3 drivers. We have 4 remaining. That'll be the number 77 of Andrew Miller, 68 of David Alvarez, the number 15 of Kurt Scott, and number 56 of Zachary Stecker. And already the number 15 having issues now. Take a look at what happened to him. Like he possibly took the turn a little wide there. Turn 11 wasn't good for him. Not sure what that could be. Maybe a possible tab out? Something in that regard, but he's back up and running, trying to get back to the pack. Drivers, let's see. It's got to be first pit stops of the day, I would assume. But already chaos again here at Watkins Glen. Seems like that's the theme for most of these races here. The drivers come down pit road to take a look and see who wins the battle. Like 3 drivers. I'm assuming Kurt Scott will once he comes down, once he makes it. Grab the pit road camera here. We'll see who can win the battle. David Alvarez first to the box. 77 pulls in. He's got the advantage because he's got the very first box. Since he qualified fairly high at the top of the board. Actually, already am losing train of my thought. Anyway. He's at the front here. He's got the very first box. See if he gets out. Oh, David Alvarez looking to take the lead. New leader, David Alvarez, as he pulls out of pit road. And I'm going to guess the 15 of Zachary Stecker beat him. As we look back on the replay to find out. He did. As we go frame by frame, you could see he has beaten the 77 of Andrew Miller out of pit road. So, wow, Andrew Miller from first to last. Very interesting stuff. 15 of Kurt Scott finally comes out of his box. So Andrew Miller lost that battle by just about 100th, I would assume. As the 68, for some reason, out in the grass area. Possibly an EOL. Looks like he has gotten the EOL. Yep. He's gotten the EOL. Most likely speeding on pit road, so... not so good for him. Obviously. Lights are already on the pace car. And we're coming back to green once they get to the line. That means, instead of David Alvarez leading, Zachary Stecker will take the lead. With only 4 cars left in the field as Kurt Scott races back to the field before they start off again. As we'll have had 10 laps completed and have 35 to go here at Watkins Glen. As they come down the final turn, it will take the green flag to restart here at Watkins Glen. And the green flag is out. Already the 77 looking to make a move. Here comes Kurt Scott. Oh, and the 56 loses it in turn 1. And already, it looks like a caution again. The pace car didn't even stop. It just went around and it came back out again. Number 56 of Zachary Stecker got loose going into turn 1, which apparently triggered the caution once more. That pace car didn't even stop. It just kept going. Once again, they race back to the line again for another caution stint. And already, it looks to me, Kurt Scott up at the top. They're leading. David Alvarez looks to make the move. And contact. Oh, and contact. The 15 slides into the grass. And David Alvarez will retain the lead here. Let's take a look back at that contact. Looked like it was a 3-way battle there. A little contact from David as well as from Andrew. So as we hop on to Kurt Scott and we check out his car there. Looked like a little contact from him. As we go frame by frame. I'll have to go back a little bit there. Contact starts about, as we can kind of go slow-mo here. As they come into the turn, you'll see the contact right there. Sending the 15 a little loose. But then here comes the 77 to add insult to injury. And smack him right there. And the 15 slides off into the grass. So a hard battle for the 15 there. Obviously, everybody was trying to race back. And it got a little competitive, but the 15 did not win out on that one. So we'll have to see here if the drivers will come down pit road. They will once more. Will come down pit road. As we check once more to see if these drivers, let's see who wins the battle here at pit road. Remember, again, the number 77 has that very first pit box, so he has somewhat of an advantage, but it seems like it hasn't been working for him after that last pit stop. See who wins this battle. Looks like both drivers, I would assume, are going to be grabbing 4 tires and fuel. Not sure why they'd be grabbing tires, even though they just grabbed tires. But already the 77 will be out first. David Alvarez will be second. Let's see who wins the battle between the 15 and the 56. Both taking 4 tires, I assume. Think Kurt's gonna have the advantage here. And he does. So Kurt Scott will be third, Zachary Stecker fourth. And Andrew Miller takes that lead back on pit road, and he will be in first with David Alvarez behind him in second. Well, the Glen hasn't been a fan to some of these drivers. Already first retirement of the day going to the 24 of Shane Lake. Tough break as he hit the wall in turn 11. The tire barrier in turn 11, rather. Then the 00 of Travis Rowland losing it in the bus stop. Losing that engine, that is. Blowing the motor. And he was out as well. And the number 4 coming out of the bus stop. Got a little wide and into the wall. Those 3 drivers have all retired, so that means there's 4 left standing here at Watkins Glen. The lights are already out on the pace car, so once they get to the line, it's back to green racing, and hopefully we can actually get a green flag running here. But Andrew Miller will restart in first. David Alvarez second, Zachary Stecker third, and Kurt Scott back and forth. Looks like Kurt's already trying to make some distance. Pace car comes down pit road. We come to the green already. The 15, he's stopped in the tire barrier. Green flag is out. Not sure what's up with the 15. He might be a retirement. You never know. Already the 77 coming into turn 1 keeps the lead. David Alvarez second, Zachary Stecker third. And it's looking like, yes, the retirement for the 15. Not sure what the issue could be. I'll have to discover. Well, I know his internet's been having some issues, but I wonder if, it seems like he's going fine with his internet, but interesting retirement for the 15, though. As Andrew Miller still keeps that lead, he is charging through the field. The track, rather. David Alvarez trailing in second, Zachary Stecker in third. So now you're down to 3 cars left. Oh, already got a little loose there. 77. Racing like it's the last lap. I don't know if I agree with that, but he really wants to make some sort of commanding lead, which he already is doing. Number 68 of David Alvarez trailing, as well as the number 56 of Zachary Stecker. Something tells me the 15 of Kurt Scott might try to come back. Well, I don't know if he can if he's retired. But as you can see, David Alvarez sliding to almost a 2-second gap. Says the 77 goes a little wide into the grass. That might help him out. Try to get closer to that 77. And Zachary Stecker is already almost 5 seconds behind the leader, Andrew Miller. On board with David Alvarez. He's trying to get as much ground as he can to catch up to Andrew Miller in the 77. He's already 17 seconds back. But Andrew Miller, he is chugging away here at Watkins Glen. He truly wants this win. You know, we're only on lap 17 and we still have quite a long time to go. As we look back, David Alvarez is now 3.5 seconds behind the 77, almost hitting that wall. They come through the S's. A 3.5 second gap between Andrew Miller and David Alvarez. Zachary Stecker already sliding back to 23 seconds. Already having some issues. Let's take a look back at his last lap. I already see some damage on the driver's side of the car. I'm wondering if that was on the previous lap, as that driver's side's very bent in. Go back to the lap before that. Take a quick whiz through it. Seemed like much. I'm just curious to see that damage on the inside. Not sure why my game is deciding to not fast forward anymore. Maybe that's why. But yeah, definite damage on that inside, and not doing very well there for the 56. of Zachary Stecker. Oh, and the number 77 into the wall. That same turn, let's see what happened. Yeah, he got it loose coming into that turn. So that means the caution is out. David Alvarez is going to race back to take that lead. Of course, it happens while we pan away for a second. David Alvarez is going to race back to the line and take that first place spot. Of course, there's going to be pit stops, so I would assume at least that there will be pit stops. So we'll have to see if maybe Andrew Miller can take that lead back, or does David Alvarez keep it? So the third caution for today here at Watkins Glen International, coming out after the 77, who was the leader, got loose into turn 1, spun it around. Thankfully, he kept it off the wall, though, so it doesn't look like any damage from him, just got loose. So thankfully, he's still in the running. Of course, the 56 of Zachary Stecker, he's blown up as well now. As we look back to see what happened. Very interesting stuff. I think a little netcode occurred there, but something tells me that means we're going to be down to 2 drivers now. He's making some adjustments. As both the leaders come through the S's. So it looks like he's going to be making repairs. At least I'd hope. I mean, for all you viewers out there, I mean, it's hoping to have as many cars as we can, but of course things happen. As you've been seeing in these past couple of races, these past couple of weeks. Still sitting down pit road. We'll have to see if he's going to sit it out. Doesn't look like he is. He's rolling off. He will be continuing on. Although the leaders are coming down pit road already as the 56 exits pit road. As we take a look and see who can come out on top. David Alvarez entering his pit box first, with Andrew Miller sliding into the very first pit box on down pit road. David Alvarez getting an early start. See if he can do it. He peels off. Could be a battle. And no, David Alvarez regains the lead here at Watkins Glen International. So David Alvarez will be your new leader, with Andrew Miller behind them in second, and Zachary Stecker in the 56 all the way back in third. '77 taking a little extra time he needed to back her down. Already the lights are off on the pace car. Though I'm interested in something real quickly here. It looked as if the pace car's lights went from on to off. Very interesting. They didn't even cross the start-finish line. Interesting stuff. However, 68's behind them. I believe he got another EOL again. He did. So 68, as he regains the lead, loses it again over an EOL penalty, speeding on pit road. So, though it's a little exciting to try to get to the top, you gotta not speed down pit road. So, Andrew Miller, the closer again, comes back out on top. He will be leading as once we get to the line. David Alvarez going all the way to the back, but Zachary Stecker will pop into second. David Alvarez will be in third. Surprising and shocking news, the 56 is still on the lead lap, so he is in second place and is still in contention. Although with all his damage issues, I'm not quite sure if he'll be able to hold up to the pack, but at the very least, he's on the lead lap. As the pace car comes down pit road, and we get restarted once again. Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen. Green flag, and we're off again on lap 22. So about 23 laps to go. The drivers come down turn 1. Clean start so far. We go on board with the 68 of David Alvarez. He tries to catch up to the 77 after that EOL penalty. We'll have to see if he can actually do it. So David Alvarez still trying to regain ground, but it doesn't seem like it's working so far, as the drivers head into the S's once more. Still your leader, the number 77 of Andrew Miller. With David Alvarez trailing behind in second and Zachary Stecker all the way back in third. Just about 11 seconds back from the leader. Probably going to be more after this lap is clocked. Tough day for the 56. After all that damage issues and hits into the wall and tough days for everybody, except for these two drivers, Andrew Miller and David Alvarez. Still hanging it out there. Still competing. Oh, he gets a little loose going into this. Getting out of the S's there. Shakes the car a little bit, but can still regain control, thankfully. Which means David Alvarez can gain ground. Already, we're almost coming on to the 25th lap here at Watkins Glen. Almost 20 to go. And the Sirius Satellite Radio at the Glen for the NASCAR Classic Cup Series right here on the Rubbin Racin Motorsports Network. Already, we have a bunch of retirements, no surprise. First one being the number 24 of Shane Lake, getting into turn 11, into the tire barrier in turn 11. Almost onto the straightaway. 00 of Travis Rowland retiring after he blew his motor coming out of the bus stop, or as he was in the middle of the bus stop. The number 4 of Juan Casiedo, who, may I mention, was the leader at the time, got a little wide coming out of the bus stop and got into the wall. He was the 3rd retirement of the day. And Kurt Scott retired for an unknown reason. I'm guessing it was maybe possibly related to his internet, but not quite too sure. But bottom line, he is the most recent driver to retire, which means we have 3 drivers left. Number 77, who's your leader right now, Andrew Miller. The number 68 of David Alvarez in 2nd, and Zachary Stecker, who's all the way back in 3rd. Still hanging it out on the lead lap. Hasn't been lapped yet so far. Kind of a good thing about Watkins Glen. It's a longer track, so gives you more of an opportunity to at least stay on the lead lap. The 77 nearly clips that wall. I would argue he's got to be careful with that, because if he keeps doing that, one of those times it's going to happen. As he blinks a little bit there. One of those times it's going to happen, and you're going to plow into that wall, and then you'll lose the lead, and you'll lose the race. But then again, that's just me. Flips that corner a little bit there. Blinks again. Which becomes the question of latency. And his quality's a little low. Ping surprisingly is good, but quality dropping a little bit there. Zachary Stecker already 44 seconds back. And he's coming down pit road. Maybe to make some repairs. Take a quick look back on the replay to make sure he hasn't had any issues. Did go a little wide and hit the grass. But it seems as if he's just coming down pit road to maybe make some repairs. And now, for the first time today, goes a lap down. Whoever who's not a lap down is the 77 and the 68. Still duking it out. As we're less than 20 to go here at Watkins Glen. Seems as if the 77 is still making his way around the track and gaining ground. Even if the 68 is losing out some time as the 77 gets a little loose there. Still the 77 in the lead right now. David Alvarez coming around the S's in 2nd. Zachary Stecker already into the wall in pit road. Potential AFK here. That's my guess, as he's completely sliding across the wall here. Yeah, it was probably a tab out or something. The tire's spinning. Unfortunate break for him as he continues to slide and stops. It'll bring him another lap down till he can get back on track. Andrew Miller is still your leader. David Alvarez in second. Honestly, not really much else to say. I mean, as long as things stay the same, probably got your winner here. But then again, anything can happen. We've had a couple races like that. Those last minute change of winner, of leader. Last minute change of a winner. Whatever. Seems like Andrew Miller in 77 still gains ground and is just clawing away at his victory. David Alvarez trying all he can. Doesn't seem like it's cutting out. We hop on board with the 68 of David Alvarez trying to get that lead, but it's just slipping away, it seems. We'll have to look back on the replay here. 68 did get wide. And the 77 did as well. But I'm going to guess the caution is indeed out. For the 68, David Alvarez, who did get loose coming out of the turn. And hits the wall, although at the same time, you can see the 56 here crawling his way out on the track as he's AFK. That could be a trigger for it as well. Bottom line, it's going to bring the drivers back together. 77 goes wide again. Quick update. As we've stated earlier, Johnny Gardner and Rob Evans, fellow drivers of Rubbin Racin Motorsports, are currently racing right now in the IORL Indy 500. I have just got confirmation. It actually is being streamed up on YouTube. You could search up IORL Indy 500, and you could find that stream, and you can watch Johnny Gardner, as well as Rob Evans, try to race for it in the IORL Indy 500. Definitely pay those guys the homage of seeing them race out on track with IORL's rendition of the Indy 500. IORL being part of the Sim Racing Association, which also includes this league, Rubbin Racin Motorsports. Quick check on number 56. Still sitting at the end of pit road. The question is it going to continue to trigger cautions? We'll have to find out. Drivers come down pit road. We'll have to see who wins the battle. And that's going to be a tough question, though, for the 56. As he's still sitting at the end of pit road, technically out in the middle of the track. So, if this is going to continue, we might have to kick the 56. Because this might be a continuing issue that might cause the caution to keep going out. It's pretty apparent he's AFK. The number 77 flies out of pit road. And will make it first. And here comes Zachary Stecker, thankfully. So, that's the good news here. Zachary Stecker is back out on the track. And actually, Zachary Stecker is electing to not get his laps back. Because as usual, the rule is usually any AFK driver will get all but one lap back. Zachary Stecker has elected not to get his laps back, according to the chat. It looks like we have a black flag here for Zachary Stecker. However, I will be clearing that black.